Hi everyone, a very good evening. I welcome you all to the Dare Act Conversation series by The Grey Matter. Our guest for today is Shubhi Sharma. She is a lawyer by qualification and a web comic artist and storyteller by passion. She's joining us today live from Doha, so let's get her on board.
Hi.
Finally, I can be live. I don't know
Welcome
what.
to the Dare. Sorry,
Continue.
I'm saying welcome to the Dare Act series. We're thrilled to have you with us today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be live and with, of course, the Dare Act and the Grey Matter.
Absolutely, it had to work. See, the net had to work for us. Anyway, so Shubhi, tell us a little bit about your childhood. Specifically about as children we all have our own quirks, and I'm sure there must be something as a child you were naturally very good at and you may have also enjoyed doing. So why don't you share a little bit about your personality
Okay,
as
so
a kid?
I think as any other kid, I was a very talkative kid, and I enjoyed everything which was I think out of the box, which I come to realize now. So I did drawing, of course, was the topmost. I did drama. There was a lot of theater happening around me. I did debating, and I did debating to an extreme. That's why I thought I could be a lawyer. So yeah, everything, like I was good at studies. I was decent. I won't say I excelled, but I was good at studies. But anything around and outside studies, especially co-curricular activities, I really enjoyed. So and I
Fairly
was really
active.
blessed with the school, which kind of like pushed me into doing things which were different.
Wonderful. And so you said that you used to do a lot of debating is one of the reasons why you chose law, but were there other reasons also for
Yeah.
making that choice?
Yeah, there were various reasons. It was not a decision which I just randomly took and I got into it. So, debating being one, second, that my dad was a very well known lawyer of Uttarakhand. So, looking at his personality and his work, I thought that, I can be like him. TV series made a lot of a difference. When I was really young, I saw Ali McBeal, and later on, of course, and you think that's what lawyers do. And above and beyond more that in school we also had career counseling classes. So,
Huh.
we went through a process of understanding what we want to do. And there also, surprisingly, it said law. So I was like, oh, the universe is telling me, I have to be a lawyer. My dad is a lawyer. I debate well, and I think I can do it. So that's how law happened.
That's how law happened. And did you also? I'm not sure that they were clad back then, but colleges did have their entrances.
Yeah.
So did you also go berserk with
Oh yes, oh
filling for
yes, oh
prelims?
yes, definitely. Like I'm sure the kids are going through hell lot of what we went through, but that time also cracking any of the law school was a big deal. Of course, there were national law school and there were other law schools, and you had these entrances. So after my boards, I went through a coaching and sat for exam. I didn't make it to Nalsar. Got stuck on the wait list. I think it happened in my benefit now. Then I got through Simbi, and that's how it happened. So that's what, again, that the entire thing of being a lawyer and the entire process of how I have to get it was so much, so overwhelming in those days that,
Yeah.
so of course, law entrance was a big deal. Like cracking it, you thought you're a lawyer.
That's a, that's actually a very honest comment because even I thought the same. Add her again. Shubhi, I suggest you switch your network one more time because it worked the last time. I can hear you vaguely. Oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are. I don't know why Wi-Fi is behaving like this in this house today.
No problem at
No
all.
problem.
So I was getting, so just my voice is echoing a little bit. Is there another device next to you that's playing
I
this
have
by
my
any chance?
phone. No,
Yeah,
nothing.
so
I doubt. No,
all right.
there's no
Okay, I
device.
will try to work with this. So, those 5 years of law school, that experience, tell us what impact did it have on you at a very personal level? How active were you as a student? How active were you in your co-curriculars? And overall, the whole 5 years of experience, how did that mold you as a person?
So I think those 5 years were very, very important and crucial in my life, and especially the person I am today. Because yes, we were studying law, the classes were there, and things were happening around. But you were meeting so many different people. Of course, I was with all lawyers, and I've been so lucky that all my friends they understood what I wanted to do, and I didn't understand it then. They understood, and they kind of pushed me. That why don't you do this? Why don't you meet her? Why don't you meet that particular person? A very close friend of mine, her sister was from design sector, and she introduced me to her. So I was very, very active as far as things were outside the law school. Okay, so I did like went ahead and did a full course in Adobe. I used to have meetings in these advertising firms which were tiny, and I used to make banners, T-shirt printing, everything else I did. And for class also, I never bunked a class. Okay, I was a good student. I attended. I won an award. So all those things were there, but it was a part of life. When I met different people, they understood what I was doing. So yes, it was and of course I was in Pune, so you can imagine 5 years in Pune were like fabulous.
Fabulous. And so, in those 5 years, was your decision about I will continue doing law and I will pursue litigation, corporate, however it may be. Did that get more and more clearer in any way, or were you kind of off tracking and be like, maybe this is not something I want to do?
So I think subconsciously I knew that I don't want to be a lawyer, and I was not accepting it. As in consciously, I was not accepting the fact that this is not what I want to do. But subconsciously, that idea was there, and consciously, I was making myself more and more that no, I picked up this field. I went through all the entrance. My parents are paying a particular fee. Everybody around me is doing so. I just kept pushing myself again and again and again that this is what. Although my actions were not as per a lawyer, they were still as a creative person. But I was thinking, no, I cannot leave law. At the end of the day, I have to be a lawyer. I will be doing a job somewhere. So even then,
Yeah.
when my friends were trying to hint that, why don't you? No, 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 I can't leave law. That's the primary thing I want to do. I've been a good debater. I've been this. I've been that. Um, but consciously, I was not making any effort to move out of it. So I
Yeah.
thought I was going to be a good lawyer.
Also, you did go ahead and also pursue your LLM from London. So, so clearly you are very, very, I have to do this. I've taken this choice for myself, so I must make that happen. I think that was pretty evident with your decisions as well. But what was your turning point, in terms of realizing that, okay, maybe this is not something I want to do professionally full time?
So I don't think it was a turning point, more of a long curve which happened over a period of time. It was not suddenly that one day I turned left and I said, "Oh, I'll be doing this." But yes, London played an important role because, once I moved to that city and I met various people there who were doing masters in law, so I assumed that they're going to be more serious about their field. I realized that it's not about being serious about the career as much as it was to know the subject matter. People were there from various countries. They were there to understand law. They were there to pick up a particular subject and know more about it. So I had a lady with me. She was 65 years old in the arbitration class. 65 years old. First we thought she was a professor. And she was like, no, I just wanted to, and she was not even from the legal background. She studied law somewhere, and then because she was just interesting, and not that she was going to pursue law after that as well. So that, and another little episode which had happened, which now when I look back, I think that was like the universe hinting that something is going to happen. So this was my finance class was going on, and my professor was like really strict, okay, and finance class was, I say, was boring, okay, and something which I was not understanding then. So we had this huge register. So these Japanese students were sitting behind me, and they're really good at taking notes. Okay, so all of them had this little laptops with them. So I'm cut, they're taking notes. And I'm looking here and there, like really, like I don't know what's happening. Where am I? And I switched my register and I started drawing. Okay, I was doodling behind my register, and the drawing was first there was a stick figure, was hanging, like the other one was shooting itself in the head. The third one was stabbing himself. Okay, so suddenly there was this, utter mutter going on behind me. They thought there was a psychotic student sitting in front of us. And then suddenly, like bold, I wrote, and I took finance. Okay, so, like the burst of laughter. Okay, I was like, what happened? And they were like, pass the register, and then the other the row behind them took it behind him. And then they said that why don't you put it up on the storyboard online, the student storyboard which we had, and I put it up, and everybody discussed, yeah, that's what we think about finance. Okay, like why did we do rather like death? Okay, and I that time also I did not think that I made people laugh, and people who were like really serious about the subject laugh. So now that I look back, that yes, there were hints coming across. There were like baby steps happening, but I consciously again was not realizing.
Yeah, and you did come back after your LLM. You did come back to the country, and what did you do after coming back to India?
So the reason I came back was a personal reason because of my father's health. I had got a job in London and I wanted to be there, but I did come back. And I think when I came back, I realized that law firm. I don't think anybody would have hired me also, considering my personality. But that was not for me. Okay, I had realized that was clear. And fortunate enough for me, that time I met Rainmaker, which is now Vahura, the wing of Rainmaker, which is now Vahura. And I got a great opportunity there. I worked in the talent development team, which was basically go to the law school and you train the younger lot. You advise them about their careers, help them out, and make presentations. So making presentations and giving them presentations, I used to add the sense of humor to basically engage the younger mind.
Yeah.
Not long back, I was sitting on the other side making these cartoons behind my register. So and then when I was leaving Bahura, that's the time Ritwik the CEO made the proposal that why don't you do this for a social media marketing content. So I was like, okay, this is going to be something like a side thing I can start, and that's how it actually took off. And the kind of review I got from there was very encouraging, very very encouraging. Eggheads are like because they were born then.
Wonderful. And tell me something, when you creative work, like the work that you do is actually, when you put your heart and soul in the kind of work that you do and you put it out there in public, it's very, very evident that some people will like it, some may not like it. And there is often, at least for me, I know when I used to always feel that, oh, I pursued law for 5 years. I gave so many years to this profession. Will people judge me if I move from, being a lawyer to now, for example, a creative person like you, somebody who's changing their profession? Did you ever face or feared judgment, or was there an inner critic telling you that, okay, maybe don't put your face out there, maybe do this anonymously,
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Initially, because I think my only closer circle knew that it was me. I didn't even put my signature in my comic. I just had like a penultimate. That time I called myself penultimate. Just the logo. And I was so shy that time that there were these group of boys who were stealing my work. They would put their own logo on it. and put it across. And I was not even like going up to them and saying that, listen, stop stealing my work. I was asking somebody else to do it for me. Because that judgment factor is there, that you've studied law, you've done masters, you're doing this, and at the end of the day, like, I'm speaking from somebody else's point of view, would be saying cartoon hi to bana rahi hai. But the fact is that people don't think that much. We give importance to people's thought, but people are not thinking. They will just appreciate a good work. Like, if I'm making something bad, they will not notice it, they will not criticize it, like my kind of feel. Probably there will be a few cases here and there who would have said that, wo itna padha tha, so she should have done law or pursued the career, or she should not have done her LLM. But I think all those things together kind of developed the person I am today. So yes, I was very shy to put my up.
Yeah. And tell us about the kind of support system. You speak a lot about your friends understanding your abilities way before than you did. So what kind of support did you receive? What was, and who is included in your support system, which helped you kind of overcome the fear of judgment, go out there, do what you had to do, which made you happy?
Oh, so I this way again, like, really, I think people who did not support kind of just vanished into thin air. But everybody around me has been supportive. My childhood friend, okay, a very close friend of mine, Ambika, then there's a batchmate of mine, Tushar. These two have been like, they have pushed me that, leave law, then just do something else. Even the genre law when it comes to webcomic, why don't you do this? So they've been like the biggest, of course, my husband, he's the one. So I used to do paper art before. And as soon as the iPad and the pencil was launched, she got it for me. Like, it's a big deal, right? It was like a big deal for me, and that's how I shifted from normal art to digital, which was a game changer for me. My mother, who does not understand the creative world, that how it works, and I am very serious. Like, she still doubts the fact that I earn through this. Okay,
Oh
I am
God.
pretty sure she doesn't understand that. There must be some doubt कि नहीं यार जो job किया होता 9 to 8 वाला तो शायद I could have understood. But yeah, she's very supportive. My brother again, like, super supportive, and my batch, Simbi batch, I'm so grateful to them. Like, I put out something, and the kind of response I get from them, they've got me business. Not only appreciation, they've got me work. Okay, my KCL alumni, they know what I do, so they get me work. They've connected me to publication houses. So, you think that people are not going to support. It's all in your head. Once you're out there, people are ready. If you're doing good job, people are there to help you out.
Help you out. Yeah, that's very true. And I think we're living in a world of collaboration now. I mean, we're collaborating in a way, and I think it's why not mine it? That's absolutely amazing. Also, tell us, so you were in how long were you there in India then when you were working with Bahura? Then you started doing something of your own. How long was that time frame before you moved to Doha?
So 2 years I was with Bahura, and then 2 years, one and a half years I was not like with Bahura before I moved to Doha. Yeah.
Before you moved to Doha.
So that was the time. Yeah.
And shifting to a completely new place where you have to, again, because what happens is when you're in India, you have your own community, you have family, you have friends, so there's a certain comfort that comes. But when you move to Doha, how did you go about first establishing your brand, and then you even went ahead to upscale your business? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that experience?
So coming to Doha, first I'll give this a point that, when my husband said we're moving to Doha, I was like, where is it? Okay, I was completely clueless. Like, I was that lost. So when he moved here at the beginning of the year, and I had to move at the latter part of the year, so I was doing my research, and I thought, being a Gulf country, probably they are not like open to something I do. I'll have to keep my market back in India. But to my surprise, okay, creativity is highly valued here, which I only got to know once I moved here. And I started meeting different kind of people here, from the marketing, from advertising, and I had this product, I'm doing something, and I don't know what to do about it. So that's the time, I realized that they really value somebody who's creative and creative thoughts. So that's the time I got offered that why don't you come to our firm, on a weekly basis through a brainstorm sessions, or why don't you give a copy for something? Because they realize they value what a creative mind is like. Creativity, like, it's a very relative term, but they value that somebody can be into the marketing, somebody can be a lawyer, but they want something which is different. And that's the time I realized that what I have, and I've been sidelining it, thinking that, it's just something like came attached with me. It's not a big deal. And I realized that no, it is a big deal. Like if God has graced me with some talent, it is a big deal. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how that slowly, baby step, baby step, baby step, I started getting more serious about what I'm doing. So yes, Doha played a very important role there.
And
And again,
how do you?
meeting people from various countries.
So basically, you
So
did
here you're
not
meeting
stop.
people.
You were fairly active even in terms of your engagement with people. You were inquisitive enough to figure out what's happening in the market, because had you just continued to do at your small scale level, you would have perhaps not known the opportunity Doha may have, you know, waiting for you. So
See, that's where the difference comes. Probably if as a lawyer I was looking out, I would not be that active, and that those efforts would seem like an effort to me, that I am applying for a job. I am meeting people. But because it was something I like to do, so it came very smooth. Like I didn't shy away from approaching people on LinkedIn, or asking somebody to introduce me to somebody and fix a meeting, because it was something I was like, again, subconsciously I was passionate about something. So I didn't shy away. And again, I say that, probably in all likelihood, if it was for law, it would not have been this.
the
It would
same.
have taken a lot of effort on me.
Absolutely. So flow and effortless was the way to get you to Doha and do what you do now. Also, tell us, how do you get your creative juices flowing? Like, how do you decide, or it just comes to you today, you're sitting and you're like, okay, let me just, make something around a particular genre. How do you pick genres, or do you have your personal favorites? Tell us a little bit about your creative process.
So initially, if it's a like something which I do on my page, which you see, which is coming out from me, it's easier because I'm doing an activity. My daughter troubles me, my husband troubles me. I put it down in illustration. It's out up. Okay, so that it's a very easy process. But when it's a client related thing, when they give me a topic, okay, that's where it becomes difficult, because I have my niche is that I put across something. My storytelling ability is that it should be very simple, and to make that entire complicated thing, first to comprehend it myself, then turn it into something else, make it humorous, and again output it out. That's very taxing. So yes, that's a process. But again, my I think the way my creativity has flourished is that I've stopped thinking about what the outcome of it, as in what the view of people is going to be about that product. I've started so strongly believing that what I'm putting out, it's so good, irrespective of what kind of views it gets. I have started believing. So that has kind of like given me a freedom to put out anything, even if I think that it's not good. So if I think it's not good, it's a separate story. I sometimes think that people will think it's not good. So that kind of
Hmm.
I've cut it out. So when you're completely free to do anything you want and put it across in your illustration, your
Yeah.
mind starts to churn even better. So your creativity kind of like starts going.
Yeah. Wonderful. And tell me, if you were to give a piece of advice to a creative mind, for that matter, uh, not knowing how to use their creativity and make it like a profession for themselves, what advice would you give them?
See, my first biggest advice is that if you think, see, first there's an idea these days which is floating that creativity and road less travel, all these ideas are very nice, and don't. That is not something you have to be doing. If you're really like doing well at something, you like something, or again, like it's an effortless process for you, then pick it up. That's the biggest point. Okay, don't just jump into something because आज office में ज़्यादा काम था, आज boss ने डांट दिया, so tomorrow I'm going to wind up. No, it's a process. And again, don't think of the result. Like again, as a lawyer, you know that tomorrow I want to be a partner at all. I want to be a managing partner. I want to be this. I want to be that, or I want to give up and start teaching law. Creative field is so vast that there is no end point. There can be milestones, but there's no end point. I want to reach there, because when you reach there, you will realize that your creative mind has kind of pushed you even ahead.
Yeah.
So don't kind of blind yourself to a destination that I have to reach here. Start baby steps, baby steps. Take one step. First is of course nourishing your talent. Work on that. Follow people. See what all they are doing. Practice, practice, practice. Once you start doing that, you'll realize there's a niche of yourself. You could be a good artist, or you could be somebody who writes very well, who's writing blogs. Okay, There can be somebody who's making humorous, like one para stories on lawyers and is not illustrating. So pick up your niche and then start working on it. And my third biggest advice is that nothing is without hard work. So if you think that tomorrow, if even like the most creative thing, something I love to do, like the simple of illustration, sometimes it frustrates me because it takes like 7 to 8 hours and I'm sitting with my back is hurting and I'm working. So yes, hard work will come everywhere, but again, you have to figure it out. Like, are you willing to put that hard work and will be happy with the result? So these are the three big advice I give to somebody who is trying to pursue something creative.
Wonderful. And what's your niche? What's your genre? You didn't tell me. What's the
Nice.
field that you love?
Okay, so I love doing mom humor. And the reason why, because everywhere I look, all these blogs and everything I followed when I was pregnant, everybody was a perfect mother. Like everybody was perfect. The kids were getting perfect diet. They were looking good. The houses were clean, and we are living outside the country, so you do your own laundry here. Oh God, okay. And I was like, my God, I'm a terrible mother. Okay, like if you see my house, if you see my daily routine, okay, people will judge me. And when I started putting it across, I realized I'm not the only one. It's just that the other mothers are not vocal about it. So I love doing that. Okay, it's like, and I make my husband look like the biggest villain in my comics, not for not helping me, but that's not the case. Anyhow, so yeah, I love doing mother humor, but said that the law humor I did, because there are copy on it and there's a sense of humor attached to it at the end and the research it takes. So that's like kind of gives you a kick because there's only a segment of people who will understand that. Somebody who studied law, some are very like niche to a lawyer. So that kick for a result. So yeah, I enjoy the law humor as well. But doing on working, definitely more humor. It just comes to me like that.
Very naturally. How wonderful. And tell us, if we were to give a piece of advice to somebody pursuing law or wanting to study law, what advice would you give the 17-year-old Shubhi, for
See,
example?
again, 17, I will not say that I took a wrong decision or anybody is taking a wrong decision. Okay? In my capacity, it was a well thought. Everybody was telling me, like even the universe was telling me that I have to do law. The only thing I missed and which I want to tell to people, and I'm sure like kids these days are well more aware of what things are happening. That when you're doing law, or for that matter, any profession you pick, just know what your day-to-day life is going to be. Okay, it's not a movie serial. It's not a TV serial or a movie where the lawyer walks in and gives like one quirky line and wins the case. It doesn't happen. Okay, there's a lot of effort going on. There's a lot of back end work. What your daily life is. Are you happy to do that? Nobody will be happy to, of course, sit for 8 to 10 hours drafting something. Nobody will be happy. But if you're fine with that, or if you're fine with the result of it, what comes out of it. So know what your day-to-day life is as in that profession going to be. Just don't
Yeah.
go for the toppings, also the base, what's happening. What I missed. Had I known properly, I would not have done that. But I don't
That's
regret
actually,
it.
yeah,
That's
that's
for sure.
actually very well said. Yeah, I think the experience of it is way more important than just the study of it because they're two very, very different
And again,
sides.
what happens that when you're doing internships, again, you're in such a race that you have to do this internship and you have to do. You're so focused that at the end of 5 years, I have to get a PPO, I have to get this work, I have to be on this particular position that you miss out on one thing that do I actually want to do this? Like there is still time to move out if you don't want to do it. Or even for that matter, like, if you're doing a corporate internship and you're like, I want to do corporate, but your calling is litigation. So there is time. So when you're doing internship, even take a step back and think that are you liking this? Like, do you see yourself do this for a latter part of your life? So yeah, that's an advice I would give to many people.
That's a very nice. Thank you for sharing that. So we know that there's a product line that is getting launched very, very soon under your brand. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so yes, there's a product line. There'll be actually two variants to it because my genre is very different from each other. So it started because I started getting offers from the big names. I of course can't name them to give my designs, especially the mother ones and the law limit to them, and they will print it out on their stationery, or they will make. They also took ideas for what kind of customized items I want. And I realized, after when the meetings were going on, the way they were speaking about my design they're my baby. I love it. My artwork is my baby. Okay, and then they're going and they're calling it like art one, art two, and after some time I realized that it's like taking a child and giving the child to somebody else, and that person, like, the child is anonymous after that. It's like one blank face, and I realized I don't want to do that. Yes, money was an issue because these guys would pay way more than what and it's a big struggle because it'll be my investment and things like those. But I realized that I'll be happier in doing something for my own this thing. So the product lines are going to be onto again, it's going to be one mom based. So mom who are happy to be messy and open about the way I am, they will love my product line. And of course, the other is going to be professional, which is more going to be stationery based but fun, like gifting items. So yeah, so that second one will come a little later on, but mom stuff will be launched soon.
And
my
okay,
last
last.
get sold anyhow.
Sorry, what did you say?
Lawsuit and more anywhere selling my prints, so that is up been there. But this is a very different thing than what I'm doing.
Wonderful. And okay, so my last question is, where can we find your work?
Okay, so you can type ultimateliar.net. That's my blog post. So 80% of my work is there because the other 20% is commission work or a work that I cannot share. Like for example, the senior people caricatures, I cannot put them. There are family stuff. Or when I work for a particular line where I've given a copy, like my writing, my humorous content, I can't put it because it's in collaboration with many other people. So that's not my own work. So those things are of course not there, but the personal one definitely it's there. And most of it is also on my Instagram. I'm very bad with Instagram. I forget to put up a lot of things. But yeah, most of it is there.
Wonderful. This was fun and this was extremely informative as well. Thank you so much, Shubhi, for joining us. And I'm so grateful that the internet worked and we could make this possible. The the Grey Matter is building a community of lawyers who've dared to act differently, and we're so grateful that we have you on board with us. Thank you.
I'm so glad I could join. Thank you for giving me this opportunity that I could. So many things I didn't know that I think like this. Your questions made me think. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for being so patient with us. Thank you for joining consistently every Friday and being a part of the Grey Matter. Also, we have episode 2 of Unsuited Season 2 happening this Sunday at 5 p.m. We have a fantastic mother-daughter duo joining us who are also co-founders of the CAMS Mediation Center. So make sure that you register in advance. We have the registration link in the bio of the Grey Matter handle. And I will see you next Friday. Thank you, Shubhi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening ahead. Bye bye.
You too. Bye-bye.